The night before the DNA test results came out, Ada couldn't sleep. She lay on her side, staring at the ceiling, listening to the steady rhythm of Nnamdi's breathing beside her. He was asleep, or at least she thought he was. Her mind raced, replaying everything over and over again. Mama Agbo's words haunted her. Lies are like fire, Ada. They burn. And when they start burning, even the liar cannot control them. She had done everything she could. She had taken the herbal mixture. She had prayed. She had hoped. But something told her that the walls were closing in. She turned to look at Nnamdi, watching the slow rise and fall of his chest. He trusted her. Or at least, he wanted to. But if the results came out wrong? If the truth was exposed? Ada clenched her jaw. No. She couldn't let that happen. She wouldn't let that happen. There had to be a way. There was always a way. She just had to find it before morning. The next day, the air in the house was different. Nnamdi was unusually quiet. Ada pretended not to notice. She acted normal, even cheerful, as she made breakfast. Eat something, she said, placing a plate in front of him. Nnamdi looked at the food, then at her. You're not eating? He asked. Ada forced a smile. I will. Just not hungry yet. Nnamdi nodded slowly, then reached for his phone. He dialed a number. Yes, doctor. I'm on my way now, he said. Ada's stomach twisted. She wiped her hands on a towel and turned to him. Should I come with you? Nnamdi looked at her for a long time before answering. No. Ada felt a lump in her throat. No. Why? But she didn't dare ask. Instead, she forced another smile and nodded. Okay. Nnamdi got up, grabbed his keys, and left without another word. The moment the door closed behind him, Ada dropped the towel and pressed a hand to her chest. Her heart was beating too fast. Her throat felt tight. This was bad. Very bad. She grabbed her phone and called the hospital. The line rang once. Twice. Then a voice answered. Hello. Ada swallowed hard. She recognized the voice. It was the receptionist. Good morning, Ada said, trying to keep her voice steady. My husband is coming to pick up our DNA test results. I just wanted to confirm if... I'm sorry, ma'am, the receptionist interrupted. Your husband already collected the results. Ada froze. What? Already? How? But, he just left the house. The receptionist hesitated. No, ma'am. He picked up the results early this morning. The blood drained from Ada's face. Her knees felt weak. She gripped the edge of the counter to steady herself. He had already seen the results. He knew. He knew. A wave of nausea hit her, and she ran to the bathroom, retching into the sink. This was it. Her lies had finally caught up with her. And now, there was no way out. When Nnamdi returned home, he didn't speak. He walked past Ada, went to the bedroom, and shut the door. Ada stood frozen in the living room, her hands shaking. The silence was worse than yelling. She had expected anger. Rage. Maybe even a slap. But this was terrifying. Slowly, she walked to the bedroom and pushed the door open. Nnamdi was sitting on the edge of the bed, holding a piece of paper in his hands. The DNA test results. He looked up as she entered. For a long time, he just stared at her. Then, in a voice so calm it sent chills down her spine, he said. Whose child is it, Ada? Ada opened her mouth, but no words came out. Nnamdi exhaled and looked down at the paper. 99.9% exclusion, he read aloud. His voice was steady, but she could hear the pain underneath. This child is not mine. Ada's legs gave out, and she sank to the floor. Nnamdi, please. Who is the father, Ada? Tears streamed down her face. She shook her head. I don't know. Nnamdi slammed his fist into the bedside table. Don't lie to me again, he roared. Ada flinched. The silence that followed was heavy. Nnamdi ran a hand over his face, breathing heavily. Then, in a softer voice, he said, "Was it them?" Ada froze. Her blood turned to ice. She didn't need to ask who them was. He knew. He had always known. Ada's lips trembled. "Nnamdi, please. Was it them?" The walls seemed to
like, subscribe, comment, share. Thanks, we love you.
Ada froze. Her blood turned to ice. She didn't need to ask who them was. He knew. He had always known. Ada's lips trembled. "Nnamdi, please. Was it them?" The walls seemed to close in. The air felt too thick to breathe. And then, Ada broke. She fell to her knees, sobbing. "Yes," she whispered. Nnamdi sucked in a sharp breath. Then, he stood up and walked out of the room. Ada scrambled to her feet. "Nnamdi, wait." He didn't stop. "Nnamdi, please. I didn't have a choice. You don't understand." But he was already gone. And this time, Ada knew. He wasn't coming back. When Ada finally found the strength to move, she sat on the floor, staring at the spot where Nnamdi had been. She had lost him. Completely. And there was nothing she could do to fix it. For the first time in her life, she understood what true regret felt like. She had spent so much time fighting, lying, manipulating. And now, she was alone. Truly alone. She wrapped her arms around herself and let out a shaky breath. Mama Agbo had been right. Lies were like fire. And now, she was standing in the ashes of everything she had destroyed. Ada sat on the cold floor, staring at the door Nnamdi had walked out of. She waited. For minutes. 4 hours. Hoping, praying, that he would walk back in. That this was just a moment of anger. That he would return and say, "Ada, we can fix this." But deep down, she knew. She had lost him. This time, for good. The house felt too big. Too quiet. Too empty. Ada pressed her palm to her stomach. The baby was still there. Still growing inside her. But the only man she had ever loved was gone. A lump formed in her throat. "I did this to myself." Her mind flashed back to the day she first lied about the pregnancy. She had told herself it was necessary. That love could fix anything. That once the baby arrived, Nnamdi would forget everything and embrace her again. But she had been a fool. Mama Agbo's words rang in her ears. Lies are like fire, Ada. They burn. And when they start burning, even the liar cannot control them. And now, she was standing in the ashes of everything she had destroyed. Ada grabbed her phone with trembling hands. She dialed Nnamdi's number. It rang. Once. Twice. Then. "The number you are trying to call is currently switched off." Ada's stomach dropped. She redialed. Same response. She tried again. Nothing. She clenched her jaw. Nnamdi had blocked her. A wave of panic crashed over her. She had to fix this. She couldn't lose him. She wouldn't survive it. She grabbed her car keys and rushed out. Her only hope now was Nnamdi's mother. It took her 20 minutes to reach Nnamdi's family house. She knocked frantically. The door opened, and there stood Mama Nnamdi. The older woman took one look at her, at the desperation in her eyes, and sighed. "Ada, what are you doing here?" Ada fell to her knees, sobbing. Mama, please, please, talk to Nnamdi for me. I messed up. I know I did. But I love him. I can't lose him. Mama Nnamdi folded her arms. Love? She scoffed. Is that what you call what you did? Love? Ada's body shook with silent cries. Mama, I was scared. I didn't know what else to do. I was afraid of losing him. Mama Nnamdi stared at her for a long time, then said something that shattered Ada's heart into 1,000 pieces. You lost him the day you chose to lie. Ada gasped. Mama Nnamdi stepped forward, her voice low and sharp. You disrespected my son. You destroyed his trust. You insulted this family. And now you have the audacity to come here and ask me to help you. Ada shook her head. Mama, please. Ada, leave my house. Mama, please, I beg you. Leave. The door slammed shut in her face. And this time, Ada knew. There was no way back. The next morning, Ada woke up to whispers. Everywhere she went, people stared. Neighbors. Market women. Even the security guard at her estate. She knew why. The truth had spread. That woman, they murmured. She lied about her child's father. Nnamdi left her. He found out the truth. A woman like that? She is a curse. She felt the weight of their judgment like a heavy stone on her chest. But nothing hurt more than the fact that she had done this to herself. Months passed. Ada grew bigger. The baby inside her kicked, but she felt nothing. She went to the hospital alone. Sat through prenatal checkups alone. Came back to an empty house alone. Nnamdi didn't call. Didn't check on her. Didn't care. Her punishment was loneliness. And she deserved it. One evening, as Ada sat on the couch, staring blankly at the wall, her phone rang. An unknown number. She hesitated. Then answered. Hello. A deep voice spoke. Madam Ada. Her heart skipped. Yes? This is Inspector Danjuma from the Lagos State Police Department. Ada sat up. Police? Why? What happened? The inspector hesitated, then said. Madam, it's about your husband. Ada's blood ran cold. She gripped the phone. Nnamdi? What happened to Nnamdi? A pause. Then the words that shattered her world all over again. Madam, your husband has been in an accident. He is in critical condition. You need to come immediately. Ada's breath caught in her throat. She stood up so fast, the room spun. Where? Which hospital? Please, tell me. The officer gave her the address. Ada didn't wait. She grabbed her bag, rushed out, and drove like a madwoman. Her heart pounded. Tears streamed down her face. Please, God. Not like this. Not like this. She had lost him once. She couldn't lose him again.
What happens next? Ada's world has already crumbled, but the worst is yet to come. As she rushes to the hospital, a storm of emotions rages inside her: fear, guilt, and a desperate hope that it's not too late. But what she doesn't know is that fate has one final test for her. What really happened to Nnamdi? Will he survive, or will Ada have to live with an even greater regret? When Nnamdi sees her, will he find it in his heart to forgive her, or will he finally end things forever? And what about the baby? Will Ada's last attempt at redemption be enough, or will the truth catch up with her in the worst way possible? The final part is coming, and it will shake you to your core. Drop a comment below. What do you think will happen next? Will Ada find redemption, or will her mistakes destroy her completely?